professional wrestling, change is the only constant. And nowhere is this more evident than in the evolution of women's wrestling contracts. These contracts, once modest agreements, have been transformed, mirroring the meteoric rise of women's wrestling itself. From the humble beginnings of limited exposure and minimal pay, women's wrestling contracts have come a long way. Top talents are now earning their rightful place in the spotlight and in the bank. A prime example is Charlotte Flair, a 15-time women's champion. Last year, Flair inked a blockbuster contract, the likes of which were previously unseen in the women's division. This deal didn't just secure her financial future, it catapulted her into the ranks of the highest-paid female athletes in WWE history. This is a testament to how far women's wrestling has come and a beacon for where it's headed. Charlotte Flair's historic deal was just the beginning, heralding a new era in women's wrestling contracts. But the evolution doesn't stop there. Each new contract sets a precedent, sending shockwaves through the industry. These groundbreaking deals are not just about individual wrestlers. They're markers of a seismic shift in the landscape of women's wrestling contracts. They're changing the game, not just for the athletes, but for the WWE and the entire industry. Consider the rising stars waiting for their shot at the big time. Talents like Jade Cargill, whose potential is as undeniable as her ambition. They're watching, waiting, and they're ready to step into the ring. The pressure is mounting on WWE to adapt, to compete, to rise to the challenge of this ever-evolving landscape. This is not just about pay scales and contract negotiations, it's about recognition, respect, and equality. It's about setting new standards, breaking down barriers, and changing the game for good. As the landscape of women's wrestling contracts continues to shift, WWE finds itself at a crossroads. The future of women's wrestling contracts is as exciting as it is uncertain. And one name dominates the conversation: Becky Lynch. As we stand on the brink of a new era, Lynch's contract countdown has become the talk of the town. With a mere 2 months left on her current WWE deal, the questions surrounding her future are as plentiful as they are compelling. Will she renew her contract, or will she take her talents elsewhere? And what does this mean for the future of women's wrestling? It's a high-stakes game of chess, and Lynch is the queen on the board. Talks of a contract extension are looming large in the air, like a championship belt held aloft. Yet questions linger about her perceived value, and more broadly about the direction of women's wrestling. Is this a moment of consolidation, or a stepping stone to even greater heights? As the evolution of women's wrestling contracts continues, the spotlight remains firmly on Lynch. Her next move could very well redefine the game.